You probably think you know Germany already. The cars, the clean streets, the beer, the clocks that seem to run ahead of everyone else. But spend a morning here, and the picture starts to change. It might begin at a train station, where commuters stand with coffee in one hand and a phone in the other. A bakery opens its doors. Someone unlocks a bicycle. A worker checks the time before crossing. Nothing looks dramatic at all. That makes Germany interesting. This is a country of about 84 million people, sitting in the heart of Europe, sharing borders with 9 countries. Berlin feels nothing like a quiet Bavarian village. Hamburg has its own rhythm. Munich has another. Yet across these different places, everyday life often comes with an unwritten expectation. Respect the space around you. Recycle the right bottle. Don't make too much noise. Be there when you say you will be there. Hold your horses. Some of it may seem strange to an American visitor. We like more noise, more talk, more spontaneity. In Germany, quiet is the norm. Being private is one way to be polite. Nor do you pride yourself on being on time. It's just what you do. But below all that hierarchy, there is something more human. People still dash for the train. They leave their groceries behind. They complain about rent. They laugh with friends. They fall in love. They have awful Mondays. The biggest surprises, moreover, are not always found in monuments and museums. They are part of everyday life for ordinary people. The language isn't the first thing about Germany that might surprise you. The people are the problem. You could spend 20 minutes sitting next to someone on a train and never say a word. Avoid uncomfortable small talk. No fake grin. Just 2 strangers in the same room in silence. Initially, an American may ask themselves, "Did I do something wrong?" Most likely not. Personal space can be considered a sign of respect in Germany. You'll notice something different when you enter a local cafe. Not everyone is attempting to make an impression on the room. Clothes are usually useful, direct conversations are possible, independence is also important. A woman may have her own apartment, career, finances, and plans when she leaves for work. That independence frequently translates into dating. It's not always considered unromantic to split the bill. It's just fair sometimes. Someone may tell you if they like you. They might also tell you that if they don't. That candor can be almost refreshing to visitors who are accustomed to reading between the lines. However, friendship may require more time. After just one conversation, people might not want to let you into their personal lives. Time, shared routines, and frequent meetings all contribute to the development of trust. The popular sauna culture, on the other hand, permits more utilitarian than provocative body care. The aim is not to brag. It is being relaxed enough to forget about how you look. That is the deeper lesson. Boundaries can sometimes be perceived as a distance from the outer world. Additionally, something that seems cold at first could actually be a new method to show respect. That serene, ordered aspect, however, completely disappears in some places. Germany's streets start to tell a different story. As night falls, the lights in the office go out. Trains continue to move. People go home, grab a beer, or meet up with friends. Additionally, a different aspect of Germany is revealed in certain cities. There are areas behind some storefronts and neon signs where adult entertainment has been made public, subject to legal regulations, and surrounded by laws pertaining to workers' rights, taxes, health, and safety. That might seem simple. It isn't. Germany has spent decades attempting to distinguish between what is regulated, what is lawful, and what is genuinely accepted by society. Permitting an industry is not the only objective. Other goals include bringing some aspects of it out of the shadows and establishing legal safeguards for its employees. Restrictions on photography, privacy regulations, police presence, and designated areas can all be important. That final point is particularly crucial for anyone using a camera while strolling through these streets. Maybe you can see the lights. You could hear the music. However, this does not imply that you have a right to someone's identity, narrative, or personal life. The contradiction then takes on human characteristics. Something can be regulated by the government without being socially acceptable. Germany has a strong bond with privacy. However, in other parts of the nation, particularly in some sauna and recreational customs, people can be surprisingly laid back about being nude. The same society that draws firm boundaries around personal privacy can also treat the human body with a remarkable lack of drama. Germany doesn't always have to choose between chaos and order. Sometimes it tries to accommodate both. And just when the city starts to feel too controlled, Germany has a tendency to open the door to something completely different. Germany appeared to be a nation based on regulations just moments ago. There's a surfer in the middle of Munich right now. Surfers wait their turn next to the roaring water at the Eisbach River, where a standing wave cuts through the English Garden. Families spread blankets on the grass. Friends sit in the sun with cold drinks. Joggers pass, and cyclists roll by a few yards away. That's a different aspect of German life. The park may seem more like someone's vast backyard on a warm afternoon than an urban area. Dogs go after sticks. Someone lets a picnic basket open, and after a while, everyone is hungry. The scent shifts close to a street stand. Hot bratwurst is placed on the grill. The smoke rises, warm and salty. A pretzel is ready for mustard. Melted cheese, roasted nuts, and food consumed outside in the cold fill the air at Christmas markets. Then there are customs that, to outsiders, seem nearly unthinkable. Cheese mites are still used to make Milchkäse in some parts of Germany, a long-standing regional specialty preserved by those who value food more than just food. Its recollection. Someone decided it was worth making again, which is why the recipe has endured. And that might be the most unexpected aspect of daily life in Germany. There is still plenty of room for enjoyment, despite all of its schedules, laws, and regulations. However, behind the tidy streets and cozy parks lies a different, much more difficult to see Germany. Someone is awake under a thin blanket before the city awakens. The first commuters arrive near a train station holding coffee. A train arrives. Doors open. The platform is traversed by shoes. The majority continue to walk. Someone is attempting to stay warm a short distance away. This is the Germany that many tourists never get to see. Even though Germany is among the wealthiest nations in Europe, real people are still impacted by homelessness, expensive housing, addiction, and unstable employment. The road to the street is not a bad choice for some people. A job loss, a broken relationship, growing rent, debt, illness, or years of trying to keep everything together can all be part of the chain. An old man may worry about a bill for hours. A migrant worker is free to accept any job that is offered. It's possible that an addict has already spent years hopping between shelters, transitional housing, and the streets. And everything is altered by the cold when winter arrives. Shelters let people in. In the streets, volunteers deliver food, coffee, blankets, and warm clothes. Outreach organizations and food banks work to reach people before another chilly night comes. However, a camera needs to keep in mind something else. Even if someone is sleeping outside, they are still a person. It's not an invitation to record their face at their most difficult moment. Given Germany's sophisticated reputation, this contrast might be unsettling. Trains are on time these days. Shops continue to be bright. Cities are still prosperous and well-managed. However, underneath that facade, some people are merely attempting to survive another night. Germany has a peculiar habit, too. When things get serious, people occasionally respond in the most typical German way possible, creating laws, traditions, and even competitions for unexpected things. What happens when common people choose to take something absurd very seriously? Two men are seated across from one another at a wooden table in a German town. They seem at ease. A leather loop is then wrapped around one finger. The referee holds up his hand. They tug. This is finger wrestling, and one finger could make or break a man's reputation, and no one is giggling. Perhaps the onlookers are, though. Competitions that seem impossible to create can be found all over Germany. Men compete to have the best mustaches and beards. Towns compete for customs that outsiders may never comprehend. Pumpkins take center stage in some locales. Then things become more bizarre. You can turn a giant pumpkin into a boat. Individuals climb in. They use paddles. They compete. It sounds like something a kid might imagine on a soggy afternoon. However, people prepare for it here. In other places, rubber ducks compete in races that draw large crowds, laughter and excitement as they float down streams. These customs seem ridiculous at first, but keep an eye on the populace. Someone has been growing a mustache for weeks. Late into the night, someone carved a pumpkin. Someone is standing next to a river, supporting a small duck, as though the Olympics were taking place there. That is the important part to keep in mind. Every place, people develop rituals to disrupt their lives. They provide a reason for neighbors to get together, compete, have fun, and feel like they belong. Germany does it in a few peculiar ways. And just think of what Germany can accomplish with a rule book if it can transform a pumpkin into a boat. Just picture receiving a complaint about your music being too loud on a Sunday. It's a good song. The neighbors are at home. However, someone then looks at the time, Sunday. That little detail has the power to completely alter the atmosphere in Germany. Peaceful Sundays and quiet hours are highly valued in many communities. Apartment buildings may have noise standards, stores may close, and daily life frequently involves an unseen list of things you just have to learn to notice. You remove the garbage. You check the bin first, though. This is where paper goes. Glass is used there, waste food somewhere else. It can seem oddly accurate. Even workplace culture frequently places a high value on timetables, being on time, and understanding the start and end of the workday. It could appear to be controlled to an outsider, but on a calm Sunday afternoon, stand in the hallway of an apartment, no loud tunes, no speeding automobiles, a neighbor going upstairs with groceries, behind a closed window, someone is brewing coffee. The silence itself is part of the culture. And that poses a more interesting question. Are these rules really about following orders? Or is it about respecting the people who live in the same building, street, and city? Germany doesn't always tell you what to think. It just gives you a set of expectations and sees what you do with those. Some visitors find this reassuring. Some find it infuriating. And perhaps both reactions are fine, because when millions of people agree to little rules, day after day, the rules cease to feel like rules. They become commonplace. They are culture. But nowhere is Germany's relationship with rules more interesting than on the road. Think for a second that you are driving in Germany. The motor hums, white road signs move underneath the vehicle. While another car speeds by you, a truck remains steady in the right lane. Then you see something odd. There's no sign indicating the speed limit. The Autobahn is this. Drivers are permitted to drive at extremely high speeds on some sections. However, there is a catch to this freedom. Due to traffic, weather, construction, or safety concerns, many other sections have posted limits. And that's just one aspect of the story. Before operating a vehicle, German drivers are expected to undergo extensive training. Roads are meticulously maintained. There must be no obstructions in emergency lanes. Even something as basic as running out of gas on the Autobahn can lead to legal issues if it could have been avoided. It sounds severe, but after a few minutes of observing the road, another thought begins to emerge. Here, freedom is effective because it carries responsibility. This way of thinking is not limited to automobiles. Cities are connected by trains, local gaps are filled by buses, cyclists travel in designated lanes. To get to work, school, or the grocery store, people in many urban areas combine multiple modes of transportation. Beneath it all is infrastructure that is based on a single fundamental question. How can millions of people move without everything collapsing? Speed is not the only thing that Germany celebrates. It is a movement engineer. Every traveler eventually asks the same question after navigating all the roads, regulations, jobs, and schedules. How much does it really cost to live here? What is the true cost of a typical Tuesday in Germany? Not the cost listed on a travel website, not the figure found in a statistics report. Small moments are when the true cost is felt. Before boarding the train, a person in a rented apartment gets up and brews coffee. It's more expensive to eat lunch at the office than at home. The grocery store is visited after work to buy bread, milk, eggs, vegetables, and dinner. Next is the rent. Housing costs can significantly reduce one's income in large cities like Munich, Frankfurt, or Berlin, although there may be less pressure in smaller towns. Employment and transportation options are subject to change. Utility bills exist, a phone plan, insurance. Everyday costs also subtly mount up. Germany isn't always inexpensive. However, affordability is not what draws in a lot of people. Predictability is what it is. You know how much you will be paid when you go to work. You make use of rules-based public services. There is more to healthcare than just whether or not you can pay the whole bill. Additionally, there is a system in place to handle problems when they arise. That does not imply that life is simple. Long commutes, high prices, taxes, and a lack of housing can all be annoying. While some people have stability, others struggle, and that might be the most accurate way to comprehend Germany. It's not just one thing, it can be both rich and poor, strict and unexpectedly at ease, both conventional and contemporary, silent and disorderly, beautiful, uncomfortable, well-organized, and occasionally wonderfully bizarre. A train pulls up. Still carrying the coffee he purchased before work, a man enters. A baker opens his business. At a red light, a cyclist waits. A family is having dinner somewhere. Nothing particularly noteworthy is taking place. Perhaps that's precisely the point. Germany can teach us that powerful industries, impressive roads, and stringent regulations are not the only ways to build a strong society. It is created by regular people going about their daily lives. Here, people still struggle. Money is a concern for them. They grow weary, they are fallible, they chuckle, they gripe over food, they sit together. Every set of statistics you see, every legal provision printed on a public notice board, every famous landmark printed on the cover of a travel guide, behind none of these are cold, lifeless concepts. Instead, they are tied to ordinary people who are all striving to build better lives for themselves. These people build their lives in places you would never stop to notice. Just like you and me, they have to put 3 meals on the table, worry about their work, and muddle through each ordinary day to keep things running smoothly. Perhaps this is the real message that is meant to be conveyed. Do not rush to pass judgment on a country based solely on the image it presents to the world. That public-facing image is too polished, too thin, to hold up the genuine, vibrant hum of everyday life that exists across this land. Take the time to look deeper, and do not linger on the filtered, curated scenery. You have to walk its streets and alleyways, listen to the street vendors' calls, listen to the elderly chatting as they escape the heat at the mouth of an alley, listen to the young people taking phone calls squeezed onto buses during the evening rush hour. Listen to all these vivid, living sounds that belong to ordinary daily life. You also have to look closely at the people there. Watch how they work to earn a living, how they interact with others, how they gather around a table to eat, how they commute by squeezing onto the subway or riding a bicycle, how they lend a hand to a neighbor in need, reach out to a stranger in trouble, and look out for one another in the small, trivial details of their days. The most touching, beautiful stories are never the legends that play out under the spotlight. More often than not, they are hidden in the daily lives of the most quiet, unassuming, ordinary people, hidden in those tiny, glimmering little moments you would miss if you did not make a point to stop and look closely.